All right, today we're gonna work on scorpion from our forearms. So to start out, we'll go ahead and get warmed up by standing up, interlace your fingers behind your back, puff up your chest a little bit, and then exhale, fold forward. And you can find stillness, you can shift the weight side to side, but just take a couple moments and consciously relax your neck, taking your chin towards your chest and just folding in towards your legs. And this video will be short and sweet. It's just a little mini workshop, so it's just about 10 minutes, so keep that in mind. Let's find Gomukhasana. So taking your right hand down your back and staying here, or taking the left hand back. You might even just push your hands into your body and try to move the elbows away from where they naturally want to go, or you could work it passively and connect your hands, but take a few breaths here. So I'll show the shape, but do the other side of Gomukhasana. So what we're working towards is from our forearm stand, and I'll show lots of ways to get up, this scorpion shape. So I'm gonna bend my knees, take my heels towards my glutes, and then try to pull my chest through the gateway of the arms as I look forward, taking my feet towards my head. Okay, so that's what we're working towards. And if you've done the other side, let's go ahead and come to hands and knees. So in many ways, this shape is like double stack, right? So we want to try to engage our hamstring and glutes. So take a moment, just a couple cat-cows, melt your heart, pull back on your hands, try to pull them towards your knees as you look forward, and then round and push. Let's try it again. Melt, pull back on your hands. This action of pulling your heart through is what we're looking for. And when you're ready, let's do the same thing on our forearms, lower down to the forearms. Melt the heart, pull back on the forearms, try to stick your butt up, and then exhale, round and push the floor away. Just one more like that. Pull back on your forearms, try to feel your rhomboids engaged. Exhale, round and push. Let's come back to our hands, take the right leg back, level off the hips, bend the right knee, and just push the ceiling straight up. And for scorpion, I like to point my toes. So I'm really reaching with my toes, and we're trying to feel our hamstring and glute engage. And this is what we're trying to feel when we are moving towards scorpion. So we're feeling it more in our hamstrings than we are in our lower back. We're aiming to feel it in our chest, our hamstrings, and our glutes. Change sides. Again, I like to flex normally, but since we're working scorpion, we're gonna point. Try to keep the hips level, and go ahead and pull back on your hands, and try to pull your chest through as you create this pulsing motion going straight up. And when you're ready, take a moment. You might even sit back for a child's pose. And let's make our way to our bellies. So come down to your belly, plant your forearms shoulder width apart. Pull back on your forearms so you pull your chest through like a cat. And then inhale, lift your forearms off the ground. Seal pose, pull back on your hands, and slowly lower the forearms down. Let's do that a couple of times and focus on hugging your upper arms in. If we're not paying attention, they're going to want to go out to the side. Try to push into the tops of the feet. Let's bend the knees, point the toes, pull the heels in towards the glutes. Take a moment. I'm not trying to get my foot to my face, my foot to my head. I'm just trying to engage my hamstrings and glutes as I pull back on my hands and very gently take the gaze up. But I'm not cranking my neck. I'm pretty neutral with the neck, but I'm focusing on my chest. And then go ahead and relax. So we'll work this shape two ways at the wall. So if you want to move over to a spot on the wall or a spot on the chair, I'm going to show it on the chair or the stool today, but you could also use your wall space. So I'll set up with my feet touching the wall or the bottom of my couch and my forearms directly below my shoulders. I'll lift my hips up, and notice that my feet aren't actually touching the stool because I don't want to move it. And then I'm going to step one foot on and then the second foot on. Take the right leg towards the middle of the room. Pull your foot in. Try to point your toes, curl your chest. As you look forward, almost like you're trying to look at yourself in a mirror. And then we'll switch it out. Try the other side. Another great cue I love for this is just think about tits to the center of the room, to the top of the mat. Can you pull your chest through more? Can you engage your glute more? And you're not going to get as deep in this variation as you will if you're able to do it with both legs without using a prop. So that's something to keep in mind. Try that again on both sides if you want. And again, we want to focus on engaging the hamstring and glute, pulling our chest forward, pulling that foot in, taking the gaze up without cranking the neck. You're not going to be able to really crank your neck when you're in a forearm scorpion. So we tried it with our feet on the stool or on the wall, and the next option is to kick up. So if we're going to kick up, we'll position ourselves about a foot away from the wall. Lift your hips up so we're in dolphin. Take your right leg up and back, and then find just a little hop, and look at my hop. So I'm just leaning into it, right? I'm barely hopping, because the more I work this single leg press action, the closer I'll be to doing a double leg press and going up, okay? So try to keep the momentum minimal. Get the right foot all the way to the wall, and then take your left foot towards your hat. Curl your toes, point, 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 point. Can you look at the wall? Push down on your forearms. Pull back. Notice how I'm not sunken. I'm actively pushing the floor away as I pull my foot in. Taking a hop off the other leg, or just switching it out if you want. Pulling your foot in, curl your toes. Think chest forward, look forward. And when you're ready, come down, take a second, relax. Some people think forearm stand is harder than handstand. I think it's a lot easier just because it has a lower center of gravity, so it's a lot easier to balance, but it's something to work towards. It's challenging, and it can be a lot just in terms of shoulder mobility, and if your shoulders are tight, it's a great way to open up your chest and your upper back, but it can also be challenging. So if you want to try another hop up towards the wall, or try the first option where you have your chest to the wall, go back and try that. Or if you want to try it in the middle of the room, try it in the middle of the room. And it can also be fun to do a single leg version in the middle of the room. So making your way, I'm going to push the floor away, right? The action is pushing. I'm making the space between my body and the floor. Lift your legs up, maybe go up to forearm stand. Again, any kind of hop that you like to do. I just like to press into it. I'm going to bend both knees. And the idea is a lot of times we want to take the knees wide, and I'm going to try to keep my knees relatively close together. As I push down, I'm going to pull my chest through, point my toes, try to pull my heels in as I point my toes towards the hat. Then maybe straighten one leg, switch it out, straighten the other leg. And that second leg can act as a counterbalance. So if you're trying this or watching this and you're like, that is impossible. Well, for one, I never thought I would be able to get my foot to my head. I just didn't think that was possible. And then one day, the foot just came to the head, okay? So a great way of working towards this shape is also just focusing on your wheel. So if you want to come down to your back, set your feet hip width apart, plant your hands back by your shoulders. I like to point my fingers back towards my shoulders, but they could also be out to the side. Really just whatever feels better on your wrists. And work on your wheel and think about pressing your chest through the gateway of your arms. And sometimes I like to stay on my heels. Sometimes I like to work my toes towards the floor. Just whatever feels best in your body. And notice that my neck is neutral. I'm just letting my head hang the way that it wants to hang, and then coming down. So if you want to get deeper in your scorpion, working on wheel is a great way of working towards this shape without working on the hop or anything like that. So you might choose to take a couple of wheels, or you might choose to just give yourself a little self-massage, roll around on your back a little bit, or if you want to try double stag, this is going to be a little bit easier, and you might not even focus on the back bend as much. So double stag, if we work it on the wall or on the chair, the important thing is that the leg that's closest to the ground stays connected. Thighs touch the chest. I step the feet onto the surface, and then I'm going to take one leg towards the middle of the room. I'm going to point my toes, pull my heel in, and try to keep the connection as I look forward. So this isn't as deep, right, as what we just did, but of course, it's an option that can be fun to work. You can work towards kicking up towards the wall or kicking up towards the middle of the room. If you're going towards the wall, you just want to be about a foot away from the wall. I want to connect my thighs and my chest. And for those of you that aren't totally new to this shape, can you just rock into it? Look how you can just peel the foot off the floor. And then I'm just going to let that leg fall over. So see how this right leg acts as a counterbalance? And I don't need to go, it's not going to be as deep, okay? But it's an option if you want to try it. You can always change the legs, okay? But that can also be a really fun shape to work in terms of a variation on this scorpion shape, this back bend, this idea of pulling back on your forearms, trying to pull your chest through the gateway of the arms. Another great way to work towards opening up your chest and your upper back is to just use a block, or you could use a pillow or something like that, and place it, well, usually I like to do 2 blocks, but 1 block right between your shoulder blades, and then laying back, and you can do this with a bolster, you could do this with a pillow, laying back on the block, and then the second block is going to support my neck. Because yeah, I could take my head to the floor, but I just want neutral with my neck. I want to focus on just opening up my chest, my upper back. If you have a foam roller, you could lay on your foam roller in the same way to work on this scorpion shape. One last option, you might choose to just lay in that shape, is to do a figure 4 variation. And the figure 4 variation is really fun. We did it in handstand. It's going to be crossing the right ankle over the left knee. And so go ahead and find a seat and take a few breaths, just right ankle on top of the left knee. It doesn't have to be super deep. Since we're working this shape literally, we'll just try to compress your thighs to your chest and then open and just notice how it feels, okay? Switching it out, you can always cradle the shin, extend the opposite leg forward. Take a couple moments there and I'll show you the figure 4 and then we'll try to hop it together. So for this shape, I'm going to start in this dolphin shape, right? And then I'll take my right ankle on top of my left knee. And this might be enough, right? You might even try a couple of dolphin push-ups from this figure 4, or I'm going to try a little hop. Look at that momentum. Notice that I'm just leaning into it, almost doing a dolphin push-up to go up, then bend the left knee as I push down and pull my chest through, and I'm using my right heel to get my left foot closer to my head. So the nice thing with a figure 4 shape is that you can use this action, right, of your heel on top of your thigh to push this opposite foot closer to your head. So it's almost a little bit more of a passive variation because you're not having to actively pull as much. You can use the resistance from the other leg. So if you want to try it, we'll try it on the other side. And again, you don't have to hop. You might just choose to work this shape in dolphin. So coming to your dolphin, we'll take the left ankle on top of the right knee. Stay here, shift it forward and back, find a couple dolphin push-ups. Or I'm going to just play around with that hop and look how little teeny tiny it is, okay? Show it again, I'm barely hopping. Once I get up, I push the floor away, bend the right knee, pull the right toes, curl the toes, and then use the left heel to move your foot closer to your face. And that can be kind of fun. So again, it's a little bit more of a passive version of it, but it's a lot of fun. So if you like the video, we are taking donations on the website. If you go to the website, you can click on store and see a spot for donations. If you have any requests, let me know.